Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing. And it's been a good while since we've tested any shotgun slugs, especially for accuracy and stuff on the channel. And now that it's summertime and deer season's going to be coming up sooner rather than later, I picked up a couple different slugs that we've never tested, so it's time to bring them out here and see what they could do. But as for the ammo we've got here today, I picked up some of these Federal Premium TruBall slugs. They are a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1 ounce lead rifled slug moving about 1,350 feet per second. And as you can see here on the front, they are supposedly a deep penetrator slug. They are what appears to be a typical Foster style lead slug, but they have this ball that sits up in the hollow back end of the projectile, which is supposed to actually help it stay together a little bit more and hold its shape and penetrate a little bit deeper. Maybe we'll do some penetration testing with these at some point if that's something you guys want to see. But either way, definitely a pretty interesting slug that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how accurate they might actually be. But as for the setup we've got to run them through today, it's definitely something a little bit interesting, which is this guy, which is my Remington 870 special purpose with an 18.5 inch cantilever fully rifled barrel. Now, from what I understand, this is an ex-police force gun from my area, and it has definitely shown us some pretty interesting results before with this 18.5 inch fully rifled barrel. And up on top, I have a Leupold VX1. It's a 2-7x28. Technically, it's a rimfire scope, but Leupold makes all their scopes with the same internal specs, and it has held up perfect on this shotgun so far. And within 100 yards, the parallax is perfect for what we're doing. So definitely a pretty nice scope. So we will see how well this actually does with those TruBalls today. And as for having the rifled barrel today with these TruBalls, yes, they are a lead rifled slug, and yes, this is a fully rifled barrel. A lot of people think you can't shoot lead rifled slugs through a fully rifled barrel, and you absolutely can. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see any better or worse accuracy out of them necessarily, but it definitely doesn't hurt anything to do it. You do have to watch some of the cheaper slugs though, that they don't start to lead foul your rifling, but with the vast majority of stuff on the shelf today, that's not really a problem. So we'll be just fine as for that rifled barrel, and I'm really curious to see how well it actually can shoot these TruBalls. Either way, as for the test today, everything is the same as we usually do it. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of those slugs, so we won't be able to do a ton of groups with them, but we'll do it the same as we usually do with shotguns and stuff. We'll take a 3-shot group at 50 yards and a 3-shot group at 100 yards. Is it perfect? No, but it will at least tell us, are these decent at all or not? And of course, I do also have the chronograph, and all the shots will be through there so we can get our velocity and our energy numbers as well. But enough talking, let's go get set up at the 50-yard target, take our group, move it out to 100, take the second group, and then bring it back here and measure things and see what we got. Okay, let's take a quick look at our chronograph numbers here before we measure our targets, just to see what we got. The boss claim is 1350. Now we do have a much shorter 18.5 inch barrel, so I did not expect to see the 1350, but still mid 1200s seems to be perfectly fine considering what the box says we should be seeing versus the setup we're running them through. Now you're definitely not going to be carrying the energy down there that you would in like a 16, 17, 1800 feet per second type of slug, but still mid 1200 inside of 100 yards is going to do you just fine on a deer or something like that. We did have a couple errors on the chronograph, so I did adjust the position of it a little bit, which gave us a couple good readings. So let's go through those real quick. Our last shot was 1240 here. The shot before that was 1253, and the shot before that was 1247. So that gave us an average of 1246 feet per second, so roughly 100 under their box claim, which definitely isn't too bad considering the barrel length we have, that's for sure. So maybe not the fastest moving slugs out there, but how well did they actually perform as far as our groups go? Let's head over here and measure them and see what we actually got. Okay, so let's take a look at this target real quick and see what we got. And I gotta say, definitely not impressive looking, that's for sure. Which just goes to show why running a rifled slug through a rifled barrel doesn't necessarily always get you better results. It could just be these slugs not being accurate, it could be the combination of these slugs through that barrel, or any number of things. Either way, before even measuring it, it didn't really work out the way I was hoping it would. It's not the worst we've ever seen, but let's measure it anyway and see what we got. We'll start with that very top group up there, which is our 50-yard group, and see what we got out of that. Okay, so for that 50-yard group, it gave us right at a 4-inch group, 4.02. So definitely nothing super impressive there. I mean, is it minute of deer? Sure, it is. It would be just fine at 50 yards on a deer. Is it my ideal loading? No, not my ideal performance, that's for sure. But let's jump down to the lower paper down there with the 100-yard group and measure that, since it honestly kind of looks pretty similar. So let's measure it and see what it gave us. Okay, so that 100-yard group gave us 4.33 inches, so you're bouncing right around 4-inch group here. And surprisingly enough, after seeing that top 50-yard group, I expected it to open up a little bit more out at 100, but it held together a little bit for us. Now, 4 inches, sure, that would be good enough on most whitetail deer within 100 yards for you. It is absolutely nothing impressive. I was hoping for way better than that, and we've seen way better than that from other slugs through that 870 there as well. So it could just be these slugs, it could be the combination of them with the rifled barrel, either and or. This combination just didn't quite work out for us, but that's why you go out and test things, because you never know what setup or combination of ammo might actually give you some surprisingly good results. But as for these results today, definitely not what I was looking for, that's for sure. And here's one of those little gas cushion pieces out from underneath of that slug. Definitely nothing too special to see. It looks exactly like what is pictured on the box. You can see those really good rifling grooves along there. Of course, I couldn't find any of the balls, but those are probably stuck up in the back of the actual slugs like they claim to be. But definitely something pretty interesting to see here, I suppose. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about those results right there? 4 inches all the way out to 100 yards. I mean, it's not the worst thing we've ever seen, but it's far from anything impressive as well. It's not the combination that I would be looking for, but if it's what you had to work with, then yeah, you would be good enough on a deer or something out to that 100-yard range. You do have a little bit larger group like that, obviously, plus being mid 1200s, you're not going to be carrying quite as much energy out there as you would like a 15 to 1700 type of velocity range. So that is something to keep a little bit in mind of, I suppose. Now, as for the accuracy, is it the slugs? Is it the rifled barrel? Is it the combination of the two? We don't really know unless we kind of try these through a smooth bore as well. And maybe that's something you guys might want to see. Maybe run them through my 1187 or something like that and see how they do with that. Might be a little better, might be the same, I don't know. But either way, I still wanted to test this combination because it very well could have surprised us. But it definitely fell a little bit short of what I was hoping to see. But as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. Is it about what you expected? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of the Federal TruBall 1-ounce slugs? And if so, what kind of results have you seen out of them? Is that a good enough type of performance for you to take them out hunting with them? Or are you like me and you want to see a little better than that? Let me know all that down below. But as for today's test, a little disappointing as far as the results go, but that's why we test things, because you never know what combination of stuff might perform and what combination might be really terrible at the same time. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description down below if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.